So now that we discussed a number of systems that are part of this management support systems, from DSS to EIS to group support systems to GIS, we can talk about what are some of the factors that can lead to successful design of these systems. As most of technology projects or projects in general, top management support is key. All right, as soon as you don't feel it, you see the red flags, those are good indicators that there's a good chance the project will fail. You don't want to be associated with the project, or you want to contribute in such a way that goes back into support of your management. Clearly know why you're doing the systems, what are the benefits that you expect, and why we are doing that. If you don't have that clarity and you try to kind of make up as you go, probably it's lack of your understanding of what the problem you're trying to solve, as well as scope creep. So your scope keeps changing, and then if you don't have the right resources to deal with the change in scope or the right timeline, it's going to fail. The constraints of the project. As part of this scoping and clarity and getting the support, you have to have a good person understanding what the executives actually need and management need from that information. These projects are critical for the company nowadays. Before, you could treat them as just one of the side projects that you do to make a better decision, but you spend your money on all the customer-facing applications. Information is a true resource and can be competitive advantage if it's done right. So the way you move that data into information is by understanding what do you need, right? And then you can map it back into data. So these are big systems, and they're very important for the company. Make sure you have those line of communications open, so that if you do need to change or you misunderstood something, you can react to it. There's always a feedback loop. And no matter how complicated all this thing is, underneath it all, many extract, data sources, transformations, calculations, you gotta hide that complexity. The interface has to be kept simple, that reporting layer, the interaction layer, because if people do not see it as easy to use, it's not obvious for them to see the benefits. That's that classic technology acceptance model. People will stop using it. If they don't use it, they won't have data-driven decision making, and your investment was for nothing. So when you do these systems and you roll them out over time with different modules, features, or versions, try to be consistent so people know how to interact with systems, and build it in such a way that you can build on it, reuse, so that you have this flexible system that can grow over time, versus going for this one huge big bang opening where if things don't work out, you're already kind of confined in a certain architecture that makes it very hard to change and very costly. So what we covered so far is a number of terms. So reread please your materials and kind of be familiar with these terms, what they represent. So there's a lot of terms. Just make sure you're familiar with them as we move on to the next part of this module, which is data warehouses, databases, data marts, and business.